I'm going to introduce our first speaker today. That's Catriona Oldershaw, who is joining us from the University of Buckingham. Catriona is very, very busy this week, so I'm delighted that she's offered her time to support this event today. She's the Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment at the University of Buckingham, and will offer a really, really good session looking at how to prepare for clearing and essentially what it is, so you can make the most of it. And with that, I'll pass the floor to Catriona, please.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. So my presentation is about clearing, what it is and how to prepare for it. I'm Catriona Oldershaw, Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment at the University of Buckingham, and it is a very busy week for us, but quite an exciting one too. What I'm going to cover in this presentation is just to look at what clearing is, and I'm going to also talk a little bit about adjustment. And then I'm going to look at why it might be relevant for you this year, and then how to prepare for it. So what is clearing? Well, in a nutshell, it's a way to find a university place if your firm and insurance university choices have both rejected you, or you decide you want to go into clearing. So that might be because you've changed your mind about what you want to study, or where you want to study. And so you can put yourself into clearing by declining your unconditional firm offer using the Decline My Place button on UCAS track. I think Hannah might talk about that a bit more in terms of what happens on clearing day. So yeah, clearing could be something that happens to you, your university choices don't offer you places. It equally could be something that you decide to participate in. So what's adjustment? I'm not going to go into masses of detail about adjustment, but essentially it's available where you have met and exceeded the conditions of your firm offer. When you've done that, you could decide to have a bit of a look around to see whether there are any other courses you might prefer. And the great thing about adjustment is that you don't need to give up your firm place to enter adjustment. So if you log in on results day and find that your status is reads congratulations and you've been confirmed, you'll see there's a button over here saying find out about and register for adjustment. So if you click on that, it will talk you through everything you need to do to participate in an adjustment. But essentially, you would call universities you're interested in, explain you're in adjustment, confirm that they would be happy to offer you a place, and then over that phone call, you would verbally accept their offer, and that enables that university to add themselves to your UCAS application. And then you have 5 days to consider whether to change to that course or to stick with your firm choice. And if you do nothing, you end up with your firm choice by default. So there are no exams this year, obviously. So it's incredibly different from a lot of other years. And I think it does mean that more people potentially could end up in clearing than normal years. There's been a lot in the news about this, particularly with Scottish higher results coming out yesterday. So hopefully you all understand that your results are not just going to reflect your predicted grades and your mock exam results. So your school will only be allocated a certain number of A stars, A's, B's, C's, etc., based on the past performance of other students at your school in those subjects. So the body called Ofqual, which is finalising all of the grades, is using your school's past performance to calibrate the predicted grades that your teachers have given you, and that will determine how many grades are available in each subject. So the grades you receive will basically be based on the rank, your rank in that subject in your school. So let's say Ofqual allocates your school 5 A stars for history. if you're predicted an A star but you're ranked 6th in that subject in your school, then you will get an A. But if you're predicted an A and you're 5th in that subject in your school, you'll actually get an A star. So we may see that this approach has winners and losers. So you may find that in some subjects you perhaps are getting a lower grade than predicted, but in another one you may actually receive a higher grade. And this isn't too different from previous years. Generally, people, the predicted grades aren't very accurate. So if we look at this chart on the right, which has been put together by a company called DataHE, it looks down here at predicted grades and then the grades actually achieved over the last 4 years. And as an example, 13,500 people were predicted to get 3 A's and actually achieved 3 A's over that period. But look at all of this group of people here who achieved less than 3 A's. So they were predicted 3 A's, but they got less. And even here, if you look, 15,500 people, so more than the number who actually hit their predicted grades, got BBC. So I guess my point is that if you had been able to sit exams, you might have found that your grades that you received were lower than your predicted grades or higher, but you probably would have felt much more in control of that process. You might have known that perhaps you hadn't revised enough or the day hadn't gone particularly well for you. This year, unfortunately, it's how the days went for students in past years at your school that will play a factor in the grades you receive. Now, there is some really good news though, so I don't want you to get too worried about that. The really good news for you guys is that you are a rare commodity this year. So this year we'll see the lowest number of 18-year-olds in the UK. You look at this chart on the right, this is us, this is 2020, and these are the number of 18-year-olds in the UK over the past years and predicted based on how many people have already been born. And you can see how much more competitive it will be, for example, in 2026 to apply for a university place, and in 2030 even more competitive than where we are here. So you're quite rare in terms of 18-year-olds and school leavers. If you're older than that, again, you'll still benefit from that smaller pool of people. We also believe that COVID-19 might mean that fewer UK students actually want to start this September. People might be wanting to wait for a January start, and a lot of universities offer January courses. They might want to defer for a year, they might be having second thoughts about university. So it may be that less people actually take up their places. We're also expecting, all of us, a big drop in international student numbers because of the practicalities around travelling. A lot of students will be able to start their studies online, but still we think there'll be less international students. And so that means it's in the university's interest to offer places to as many home students as they can, for financial reasons and for the vibrancy of the campus and the university and the subjects. The only caveat to that is that the government has placed a 5% cap on the number of home students that universities can offer places to this year. So before COVID even happened, universities were asked to predict how many students they thought would be joining them this September. And the government has since said, you can take that number plus 5%, but if you go beyond that, we will fine you. And that's to stop some of the more prestigious or higher-ranking universities from offering places to students they wouldn't normally accept, and that having an impact on universities sort of further down the chain. So it's trying to be fair and to ensure that all universities remain healthy, which is so important for now, but also future people and the choices they have around universities. And the other big thing is that we as universities, we know grades are going to be unpredictable. So I believe, and certainly here at Buckingham, universities are likely to be a lot more flexible than they have been in previous years. And you may find when you log in to UCAS Track on Thursday that even if you haven't quite met your offer grades, you may find that your offer has been confirmed. Because I think universities are aware that the grades, some of the grades are going to look a bit odd and a bit spiky. So what happens between now and results day? Well, your firm and insurance university choices have already been sent your A-level and BTEC results under what's something called embargo. So we have those results and we have to keep them secret. We're not allowed to reveal in any way to our applicants whether they have done well or not. The reason we get the results early is to enable us to make a decision. So over the weekend and right now, universities are looking at all their applicants' marks and making decisions about whether to make your offer unconditional. So whether to do that, whether to reject you, or whether to offer you an alternative course. And for example, you might have applied for an economics course. You might not quite have made the grades for that. So you may find that your university choice offers you geography with economics as an alternative, and you will have the opportunity to decide whether you want to accept that or not. So obviously results day is Thursday the 13th of August. I believe some schools are still letting students go in to collect your results, but other schools will be emailing you your results, or you'll be able to log into your school portals and see them from 8 a.m. So it will be a lot earlier in the day than in past years that you'll have access to your results. And that means that from 8 a.m. onwards, when you log into UCAS Track, you'll be able to see the decisions made by your firm and insurance choices. Now, I have heard that some universities are delaying some decisions. So it could be that when you log in, you don't have a decision yet, and you'll have to be patient, basically, or call those universities to ask for an update. But for many of you, when you log in, you'll have your decision. Right, so what should you be doing between now and Thursday? It's really good, it'll be really good for probably your stress levels if you feel prepared, just in case you end up using clearing or adjustments. And watching this webinar is a really great start. But what I would really recommend is that you do some research on other universities and courses that you might be interested in. And perhaps if you want to be really organised, pull together a table or a spreadsheet like the one on my slide, where you can capture key details about courses that you might be interested in. You can call universities right now. You can live chat with them. You can go onto their websites, and almost all of them will already list the courses they have places in for clearing. And you can have a chat to them right now. Ask them what sort of grades you would need to get a place on that course, and then ask them lots of other things about the university and the course. If you are going to be living away from home, it's really good to check if they will have accommodation guaranteed for people coming to them through clearing. But then have a look around the website, look at their social media feeds, try and get a really good feel for whether it's a place you'd really thrive in and enjoy. Look at the clubs and activities they have, what sort of support do they offer you, what are the facilities like, do they offer job placements? They have a really good track record of graduate outcomes and jobs that people go on to. So have all of that information, because I think it would be really helpful if you feel that if you end up in clearing, you're then making really informed choices about universities and courses that you actually have started to get really quite excited about. If you make a note of their clearing phone number, then you'll have it immediately to hand. So I think when you get your results, and if you end up in clearing, your head might be in quite, a bit of a whirl. You might be feeling quite stressed. think if you have a list in front of you, when you are ready, you just pick up the phone and talk to people immediately. So that's it from me. I just wanted to end up with saying good luck. Good luck for Thursday. You know, everything happens for a reason. You may end up with some fantastic results you weren't expecting, or not quite the results you'd hoped for. But if you're prepared for clearing, then I think there's a good chance you'll end up you know, finding a course that's a fantastic fit for you. And you may look back in years to come and think that going into clearing was the best thing you've ever done. Who knows? Thank you.